creative space, in this moment, at this time, when we feel the oneness of all, we have come here to build a sanctuary of love in this moment, in this place, in this moment, in this place. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. Please join me and Reverend Sheila as we sing our opening congregational song. God is real, God is magnificent, God is light, God is love. I am real, I am magnificent, I am light, I am love. You are real, you are magnificent, you are light, you are love. We are real, we are magnificent, we are light, we are love.
Back to God.
God is real, God is magnificent, God is light, God is love.
And Om. Good morning, will you? And happy Father's Day. Please join me in acknowledging our powerful singer for today, featured singer for today, Liz Rixahern. Backed up by our amazing house band, Fusion. And would you also join me by turning to the camera and let's say hello and give a shout out to our friends online. Hey! Welcome and thank you for being with us. Your presence is a wonderful addition to our service. We appreciate you. My name is Sheila Gautreaux. I'm one of your ministers here at Unity of Walnut Creek. I want to extend a very special happy Father's Day to all of the fathers in the room and the fathers online as well. If you are new to Unity, I extend a very special welcome to you and invite you along this positive path for spiritual living, for that is what Unity is. We see the power of God moving through everything. And we teach the one presence in the universe. However, we acknowledge and accept all of the many paths to that presence. We are founded on prayer, affirmative prayer, the power of prayer. And this is called the yes action of God, because in everything that occurs in our lives and in our world, we see the goodness of God. We find the gift, the blessing in it, in everything, including the tragedy in South Carolina. And so that we might have an experience of this positive, affirmative prayer, I'm inviting you to join me in our opening prayer statement. And as we say it, let us hold in our hearts Emmanuel AME Church, those who died, and including Dylan Roof. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let us take that in for ourselves. Let's breathe it in through our hearts and allowing it to move as the power of love through every fiber of our being. And again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let us take that in even more deeply and allowing it to extend outward from us, filling this sanctuary, extending itself to our friends online, letting us all feel the power of that goodness and that love. And once more, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And as we allow it to extend in here, let it extend even further out into our communities, out into our nation, across the seas and over the mountains throughout the world, recognizing the goodness of God in everything through that one power and that one presence. And we hold this truth to be self-evident. Thank you, God. And so it is. And together we say, Amen. Please remain seated and join me in our next congregation song, Come, Holy Spirit.
So we enter into this beautiful place of prayer, this place to hold together this awareness of divine love in which we live and move and have our being. So I invite you to take that deep breath through your heart. Breathe in that awareness of this beautiful love, this divine presence. Breathe out, gently opening, feeling the peace of this moment. And I invite you to let the music be that invitation to the very center of your heart. Join in and let that breath be that deepening to that center.
Breathe in me, breath of God. Breathe in me, breath of God. Breathe in me, breath of God.
Father, Mother, God, as we take this breath of awareness, breathing in the awareness of your presence, as we took that breath awakening this morning, your presence as awareness, light, illumination, calling us to experience a new day. The flow of beautiful life energy that called us forth into this morning. The nurture and care of your presence as the sunlight that illumined the day, and the understanding that illumines each choice and action. You are the love that we found in smiles and family. You are the wisdom that guides every step upon our way. You are this beautiful love that brings harmony and peace and care all about us. You are this beautiful love that we, in this day, share with those who have been Father to us. That we send to bless our fathers. That we send to express our gratitude and appreciation for the gifts that they have been to our lives. You are the love that flows between us, harmonizing, bringing peace and wisdom. The unifying, harmonizing power. Beloved presence. We are so grateful to feel your presence as divine love. To feel your presence as an infinite peace within us. And now we choose to enter that peace. To step into that deeper, beautiful place of stillness. A place where we simply rest at one with the one. Following that direction given by the Master. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be. Father, Mother God, beloved presence, infinite love, it is such a wonderful thing to be aware of, this divine love. To be able to breathe it in and out. To be one with it and at peace. Such a wonderful thing to be able to send and share it, to bless others. For the presence of this love heals, uplifts, guides. And so we take and enter into that place of love within our hearts. And we bring it forth. We send it forth, radiant love to bless and heal and uplift. And we begin by sending it to our own bodies for every cell and system, calling forth its wholeness. We radiate it to mind and heart for wisdom and understanding. And we send this beautiful love from our hearts. We radiate it to each one that is dear to us, enfolding, blessing, lifting, guiding. We send this love that it might heal and bless. We send this love across the spiritual community, bringing healing, blessing, wisdom, and true joy. We send this love to every prayer request brought here. We know with each you are enfolded in divine love and lifted to that which is the highest. We radiate this love from our hearts as it flows across the communities in which we live, across our nation, across the nations of the world, calling forth the peace and wisdom in all peoples. As we send this love from our hearts, it joins with all who join us in prayer, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church, whether gathered at home or on the hillsides. For in seeking to know you, we are all one. And this love flows through our hearts. We send it about the earth, that it might bring balance to her systems. It might bring rain where there is drought. It might bring calm where there is storm, and blessing to all her creatures. And we send this love about the earth, that it might touch the heart of every single person in the earth. For you are that love in every heart. And in this love, we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. It is so. here now, in that radiant love present in each heart. Amen.
Liz, thank you very much. I didn't understand a word, but I loved it. Thank you. It was beautiful. I hope some of you understood the words. What were you singing about?
I was thinking about fathers setting sail on great journeys that they have to take, but they feel the pull of the child's cradle at home and the mother leaving behind rocking.
Oh, that just gave me chills. Thank you. Thank you. So, happy Father's Day to you and your father, to those of you who had to be father and mother. So for all of us, it's a happy Father's Day. So I'm so glad that you're here to share it with us today. My name is Linda Stevens, and it is my joy and my pleasure to share with you and for those of you at home, happy Father's Day. And it's just a good day to be at Unity, isn't it? It's always a good day to be at Unity, but today is an especially good day. A couple of things I want to bring to your attention. Beginning tomorrow night and continuing each evening through Friday, we'll make a mystical journey with Reverend Larry Schneider. Larry, does everybody know who you are? Well, then why don't you stand up? This is Reverend Larry Schneider. I haven't met Larry yet, so I wanted to say hello and welcome. We're glad that you're going to be here starting tomorrow night, and he's going to be doing Enter into Your Own Mystical Journey and learn of the great mystics and their teachings. So thank you for being here with us. And join Reverend David for hologramming on the first Thursday evening in July. This is going to be an opportunity to feel your heart's deep desire and the seldom shared heart math technique, energizing the higher potential in your soul's blueprint to manifestation. Now, a lot of you were here last week when Matthew Fox was here, right? And a lot of you wanted to know, are you going to have DVDs available? Well, today we've got them. So go to the bookstore and check that out if you're looking for a DVD of the Matthew Fox. Now, Reverend David, please come up.
Well, we have some very exciting things, and they all start tomorrow. Okay, one is Larry's marvelous. This man is one of those teachers that you keep going, when can we get him back? So we got him back, and we're doing a different sort of class. So it's every evening this week, the powerful entry into an experience of that mystical experience. So thank you for coming, Larry, and doing that for us. And then at the same time, it's very important you are also present for, this is for you adventurers. Okay, we are joining with a number of churches from our Interfaith Council, and we're going on a trip to the Holy Land. There we'll get to see and experience many of the beautiful and inspiring biblical sites, but we also have another purpose in going there. And that purpose is to assist the Palestinian farmers in bringing in their olive crop. They aren't able to bring in workers to help them bring in that crop. So churches from around the world send their people to help with that experience. So it gives us a chance not only to touch that important part of the world and its deep and beautiful spirituality, but also to be there as a presence of peace in a part of the world that has such a need. So if you're interested in exploring that, that is also Monday night, 7 o'clock, the same time that Larry's class is going to start here. So if you want to explore the Holy Land trip, you have two choices. One, you either attend that one and then join the next 4 classes, or you get Hermione's time turner. So either way.
Or they can astro visit both of them at the same time, right? Wonderful. Okay, you guys, are you ready? I understand we have a special announcement. Please come forth. Oh, that's right. It's okay. I'm looking 2 different directions. Come on.
It's not that special. No, it is. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to everyone. And I do have a reminder. This coming Saturday is Tacos del Sol.
¿Sol? Yo estoy el Sol.
Yeah?
¿Qué es Tacos de Sol?
It's Tacos del Sol. It's going to be hosted in the multi-use room by our men's group. And we've got authentic tacos, beverages. We have Herd of Cats coming to perform live, as well as we're going to just dance the night away with DJ Tyler. So if you have the opportunity, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you're going to...
¿A qué hora es el Tacos de Sol?
Oh, gosh, it's been a while since I took Spanish. It's at 6 p.m. You're still up. And tickets are going to be on sale on the patio after service. as well as at the door. So are you going to make it?
Por supuesto.
All right. Hope to see you guys all there.
That ought to make your day. Love it, love it, love it. All right. You know, there's a lot of information in your bulletin, so for any of the other things that I've talked about or other things, please check out your bulletin for other information. Now it's time to tell your neighbors good morning. So until you hear the gong, stand up and greet those around you. Thanks.
Turn on my little gizmo here. Thank you. Yeah, I just love you.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel so at home.
Stay standing and join us in singing the Calypso beat, Father, I Adore You. Father, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you. Spirit, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you. Father, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you. How I love you. How I love you. F, he's always faithful, my Father is. A is the awareness, my Father is. T, touching my spirit, my Father is. My Father is the creator of all life. My Father is the morning sun that wakes me up each day. My Father is the evening star that guides me on my way. H, a heart of love, my Father is. E, eternal life, my Father is. R, reaching to save, my Father is. My Father is the creator of all life. My Father is the morning sun that wakes me up each day. My Father is the evening star that guides me on my way. My Father is all that I have, all that I am or hope to be. And where I go, I'll always know my Father is. My Father is all that I have, all that I am or hope to be. And where I go, I'll always know. My Father is.
Father's Day. All right. Well, let's acknowledge the fathers we have present. Would the fathers please stand so we can acknowledge you? Yeah. So now the grandfathers can remain standing. Grandfathers. Okay, yeah. Yes. Okay, now just the great-grandfathers. All right, yeah. Now I gotta ask, do we have a great-great? Okay, just checking. Oh, it is such a wonderful thing to have the opportunity to take and reflect back on and celebrate our fathers. And particularly my father passed many years ago, but the chance just to go back and remember the blessing of his presence, what he is in my heart, and reach across that time and space experience to have that blessing alive is so meaningful, and to get to share and recognize the gifts and the blessing. Because in the experience of fatherhood, now some were those were our biological fathers that were with us through our life, but for many of us there were others that stepped forward and were able to be a part of that father role for us, or bless our lives in that way. And it's those we also get to honor. And in all fairness, a lot of those who were present in that father's role in our lives have been women that I am constantly in awe of. Many of the single mothers today who are present in both of those roles with such love and integrity. And it's also important to recognize that, well, some of our fathers were able to touch that divine pattern that father is and bring those beautiful qualities. But every one of them had limitations of some sort because they're still journeying through this human experience. And for some of those were severe limitations. And they were caught in experiences of their own pain, of addiction, and other things that limited how they could express that goodness. And so there's often during this time of reflection on our fathers the opportunity also for forgiveness, to let that which was less than be healed. So all a part of this sacred journey of acknowledging the fathers. I went immediately to a memory with my own father when one of my favorite things was when we got to skip out of church, leave early in the morning before anybody was up, and we'd go fishing. Now, I was pretty young at that point, and I'm aware that even though my father later in his life taught meditation and was a committed meditator, that was not something that was in his life at that point. But I also realized Spirit simply used fishing as a substitution for meditation, and it did pretty good. So that was a real blessing there. When we look at Father, there is a spiritual invitation that's there that's very, very powerful one. Because Jesus perceived the divine and referred to the divine as Father. Now that immediately sets up a challenge. Okay, because for us, Dad was somebody outside of ourselves. So when we hear that term Father, in the spiritual sense, it's just naturally to think of somebody outside of ourselves. But I don't think he meant that. From John. I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. The words I say to you are not just my own. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe in me when I say, I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. That's not very separate, is it? Right there. That oneness, that spiritual divine presence that he was discovering, experiencing within himself. And he had a particular perception, an attitude towards that, which I think he captures in this, do not fear, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That love, that care. Now, everybody who's gone through the father role or the mother role knows what we want to do with our children is spoil them. Okay, there's all these marvelous things. I keep looking at this little 4-year-old being in our house, and by the way, her dance recital is today. But what happens is there's just more stuff shows up there because always, she loved it. It happens to us. And then we get to be grandparents. And you don't have to be responsible anymore. It's wonderful. Good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Can you imagine that divine desire that we're tapping into? One of the things that we've been looking at in our journey has been, how do we open to experience greater love? How do we open to experience the deeper experience of this divine presence as love? How do we do that? And so one of the things that we've taken a hold of is the understanding that our opening to the experience of abundance is one of the ways that we can take a hold of and practice the principles that actually let that love and care flow into our lives. So we started looking at, what are those? And the first one we looked at was purpose. That you aren't here by accident. We're here, each of us have a committed purpose for which we entered into the earth. And part of our assignment is the discovery of that and the expression of that in our lives. So that becomes one of the first steps into that experience of abundance, because that, everything that's needed for that is given and flows to and through us. Now, the second one we look for is that challenging step where we have to move into the role of co-creator, where we begin to make choices. We say, okay, this is what I desire in my life. And we begin to call those things by setting our goals, to listening to our guidance, to opening to the blessings that can fill us and care for us and nurture us along this way. And so today we get to touch what is at the very core of the experience of abundance. And that is the experience of God as source. That Father, the provider of all that we experience and receive. When Matthew Fox was here last Sunday, I'm so glad that he came and you got to experience him. Just a wonderful teacher. I'm always excited by his beautiful mind and exploration and what he's bringing forth. And he quoted the wonderful mystic Howard Thurman. And in it, what he referenced was, he said, in the presence of God, a human spirit is stripped to the literal substance of itself before God. That where everything is taken away except who we really are. That experience of the purity of oneself in the presence of that. This is something that is part of what is created through the journey into abundance. Because in abundance, looking at abundance, what we're doing is we are discovering our true core beliefs. We have to look at them. We have to find what they are. So we see our true core beliefs about what we are, about what the divine is, as we confront the material world to discover its underlying spirituality, the spirituality that is at the very core of the material experience. And Jesus did this again and again. He kept looking at this material world and basically going, no, it's not. So people would come up, with the experience of illness. And in that, there's a perception that the body determines our well-being. The body decides whether we're whole or not. And he would help call forth that spiritual wholeness within them, and the body would respond to the spirit rather than the other way around. So he confronted that perception that the materiality of life controls our life. And he did it where there was appearances of lack, with the feeding of the 5,000 and 4,000 and all event after event where there was not enough. And it seemed as though the lack in the material world determined the well-being of the experience. And so what he did was call forth the abundance that was the spiritual nature itself. And in that, there was more than enough. And then he did it in another way that's a beautiful challenge of our perception of materiality. And that's that the material world determines our experience of life itself. And so there were a number of times where people had died, and it seemed as though the body determined their life. And he called them forth into life from that spiritual power within the self, because it is the spiritual self that enlivens the body, not the other way around. So he confronted that through this power that is this divine that he called Father. Now, when I look at what he was doing, and I want to understand, I want to go to see how he was viewing it. And in one of the parables, I think he gives a beautiful illustration of his understanding of what was there. This is the prodigal son, and I want to just touch on the first half, because it gives us a chance to see Father as I think he was seeing it. So Jesus said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me." So he divided to them his livelihood. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and journeyed to a far country. And there wasted his possessions with prodigal living. Now, there's actually some other translations where they're a little more creative in the description, but, But when he had spent all, there arose a severe famine in that land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent himself into his fields to feed swine. And he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, real switch there. When he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' And he rose and came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring the fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'" Interesting father. First of all, in the story, abundance all comes from the Father. And the Son, this growing consciousness within ourselves. Literally, that's, I believe he's referring to this one of the set of perceptions that we go through as we journey through the three-dimensional experience of the earth. So the Son says, okay, I want to get out there and check it all out. So give me. No argument. The response to the request is, it is given. Ask and it will be given to you. So what he needed to go out there was there. And then the real change takes place. The original part of the story is built around the Son having his full attention on the Father. Okay, so on the source, on this divine presence. And then there is a shift of perception. And the focus of perception is now the world. I'm going to go out in the world, the far country. Some of us have journeyed out there. Some of us, it looked like California. You know, out there, we're going to get out there and we're going to get ours. And so we head out there to do that. And it talks about how he, the prodigal experience later on, that he wasted the money, and sounds like he really had a pretty good time with some of it. But the result is, with the attention out there, it cannot satisfy. It leads to famine. It leads to lack. It leads to hunger. Even if we aren't talking about the material world, which we're not, it leads to lack of fulfillment because our fulfillment is not out there. Some of us have done marvelous things out there and we've proven it. Not out there. That we end up hungry and the source is capable of fulfilling our hunger. Now, in our journey, one of the things that we learn very well is something called guilt. Okay, I blew it. I'm not worthy. Anybody done I'm not worthy? Okay, anybody into the blow it thing? Yeah, some of us have been more spectacular at blowing it than others. But here we are. And he turns around, and this is the awakening. Okay, this is the point of awakening within the story. Comes to himself. In other words, he gets a look at himself. What am I? I am not that child. I am that child. I am the child of the divine. Okay, this is my source. This is who I am the child of. So that shift, that awakening, causes the shift of perception. So he's back then with the perception on the divine, and he realizes that has always been his true source. But he's too guilty to get much of it. Anybody done too guilty to get much of it? Yeah, that kind of slips in there, huh? Yeah, that's okay. That's how we feel. That's what gets created by this perception we've been working in. And so we start back, and that's what counts. That we start back because the love comes and embraces us, cares for us, heals us. The Father comes to the Son, and the Son does, I'm not worthy. I'd have us say it together, but that's not a very good affirmation. So, okay. I'm not worthy. I'm guilty. And here is one of the most exciting teachings in the world. He doesn't do punishment, pay it back. First you have to. None of that. You are loved and it is all yours. Because you are that spiritual being. That source has no qualification on its love for us. God is that source of everything. There is no limit except what we put on. And some of us are pretty good at guilt. We can do that well. But that's ours. That's not that divine. That source. There is no limit put on it. It's not, you got to work and pay it back. My understanding is that all the mistakes that we make are paid for in advance. Wouldn't it be a pretty dumb, infinite intelligence that sent us out in the world and figured we weren't going to make any mistakes? Now you're going to go through this human thing. Don't you dare hurt anybody and don't waste anything. Okay, and you got to get it right every time. That doesn't sound like a very smart God to me. It's given. We were assigned the experience of learning here. And the tuition's been paid. And what we learn is, yes, how to journey here by keeping our attention there on the source. I remember a experience. I was a teenager and I now had my license and I could drive. And our family was going on a ski vacation to Stowe, Vermont. So we were headed across Pennsylvania and on up into those northeastern states. I've been gone so long I don't even remember them now. But we were on one of those, the road was slick and it had been snowing and, so we were going real slow and then we were back, in this long line of slow cars. And I can remember saying, do we really have to go this slow? A moment later, the car that I was driving did 360-degree circles. And it ended up going the right way, but on the other side of the road. Now, it didn't go in a ditch because there was none. There was just a pile of snow. So we bumped up against that pile of snow, and I had just learned about icy roads. And so I very gently pushed on the gas, and we had actually slid to where there was a little traction. It started to move. We were able to get back and very slowly get across the road and get into a place on that very slow traffic. Now, the spinning taught me about icy roads. My father was sitting in the seat beside me. He never said a thing. That taught me about learning. He understood that I'd learned. He didn't need to point out to me, my foolish mistake. I was aware of my foolish mistake. He didn't need to point out to me the danger I'd put the family in. I was aware. He didn't need for me to go through more angst than I needed to put on myself. It was just about learning. I learned, we went on. We learn God just holds that place, pays the bill, heals the stuff we've hurt, and we go on. There was a man who shared experience with me with his son. And his son had begun acting out in some very difficult ways within the family and school. And the man had tried many different things to see what he could do, and basically was not having an effective impact on the son. So he told me what he did. He said he sat down every day and he took some time, and this is his description. He says, I saw my son standing in a pool of light and love as being calm, peaceful, confident, harmonious, happy. Every day, he took that time with his son. He says that he didn't see changes quickly. But over the next 2 months, he finally came to a place where when he saw within his son this experience, his son was calm, peaceful, confident, harmonious, happy. When I remembered that, I had that sense of how that Father, that divine presence, holds for us that pattern of who we really are. When we come to ourselves, we discover what that divine presence already knows. Okay, when we go through that experience of completely down to the core of ourselves that Thurman mentioned, what are we going to find? What the divine has always known. We find what we really are. We may be growing through this experience, but here you are as pure love. That is really who you are. That's who each of us is. And that divine presence knows that, holds that with us, and allows us to learn. When we let it in, what we find is we are richly blessed. Every way. When we let the love in, okay, what happens when we let it in at the physical level? Well, then we have the prosperity. Okay, and we have the beauty, we have the quality within our life experience. At the physical level, we let it into our body, and our bodies heal and strengthen and bring forth the energy to be about what we're here for. When we let it in at that mental level, we get the stimulation, the creativity, the ideas, the wisdom. When we let it in at that emotional level, we have the peace, the harmony, the joy. When we let that love in at the spiritual level, we have love. And that's what we're opening to. Letting that in. God is my source. I am richly blessed. Join me. God is my source. I am richly blessed. Doesn't that feel good? Again, God is my source. I am richly blessed. Letting that just fill us. Again, God is my source. I am richly blessed. And I know a secret that God knows. You deserve it. Bless you.
Thank you, David. Now let's all see all of our lessons as gentle and loving as David's was. Okay, so now we're going to have all of our lessons come through that gently. Thank you. Now it's time to take out a connection card. They're in the back of your seat on those little clipboards. And we'd encourage you to fill that out. let us know that you're here. If you have any questions or any comments, we're always open to hearing from you and really appreciate you taking the time to fill this out. In addition, our heart ministers will be here after service, and they'll have the lavender stoles on, and they're here for you to ask for prayer support and for either celebrations or challenges in your life. So please ask one of them. Also, if you are at home and you'd like some prayer support, please press that button. Now, our focus for this week is, do you guys remember it? God is my source, and I am richly blessed. So let's make a commitment to think about that and to bring that into our world throughout this week. And the ushers will receive your card with the offering in just a minute. And now it's time for our prosperity celebration. For credit card donations, there's envelopes with those clipboards that you're able to use. And for you guys at home, there's a button that says donate if you'd like to. We'd appreciate that. Now take your tithes and your love offering in your hand, and let's acknowledge that God is the source of our good through our prosperity blessing. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are so grateful. Thank you.
Yesterday, a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like, when you're older, must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town, and they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow those circles down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. Years spin by and now the boy is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty before that last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game. In the light of God, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God.
Let's enfold these magnificent beings in our hearts and share our blessing together. Children, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. And let's take hands and share together our prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song. You are the love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.
She's outside, man.